What is up, guys? 806 Anglers here. Welcome back to another video. Haven't been posting all that much, so I'm sorry about that. There's a few reasons why. You know, the weather's been trash here. If there was good days, there wouldn't be perfect conditions, like they were really windy, stuff like that. Other than that, the fishing hasn't been that well, and you know, a bunch of the places are dry. So yeah, that's what's been going on. Anyways, I'm gonna try to do the best I can to get more content for you guys. That's the word I'm looking for. More content for you guys up and going on this channel. That way we can have more videos. Anyway, so I want to show y'all something that I got, and you know, I'm hoping that this might have this might be something to do in the future. Right now it may not be all that big, but later, like in the summer, later on, I think it will be something bigger. And like, just let me show you. Got some comet goldfish. Oh, there it is. That one's Tom. And then that smaller one, I don't know if y'all can see it. Yep, that smaller one right there, that one's Jerry. But I did a natural look in the tank and, you know, put some natural rocks, natural plants. I'm going to be putting more stuff in there. Anyways, guys, let me know if you want to see a video of that tank in the future on this channel. If not, then I probably won't do one. But what I'm thinking of doing later on is, once those fish grow, I will put either a bluegill, a bass, or a crappie in that tank. Now, why don't I put one in there right now? Well, I really don't think, like, domestic. It's not a good idea to put domestic fish with wild fish. So once those guys grow out, I will be putting either bass, crappie, or a bluegill. So those are comet goldfish, which means they are pond. Like, it's a species of goldfish. They're meant for ponds, so they will grow real rapidly. I don't know their growth rate exactly, but the guy told us that no matter what tank you put it in, they will keep growing. So it's a pond fish, and we do have a safe home for them to be released. Anyways, I feel like I've been talking already too much, so let's go ahead and get into the video. And I'm gonna try not to make it too long. Alright, guys, so the first rod and reel that I'm gonna start out with is my bass spinning rod and reel setup. So this is a Abu Garcia Vengeance, so you can see. Yeah, it's an Abu Garcia Vengeance. It's a 24-ton graphite rod, and it's a 6'6" medium. I am going to do pros and cons about these rods. So one thing I really like, for it being a medium, it's got pretty nice backbone, kind of like a 7-foot spinning rod, but it's got a light enough tip where you can definitely see and feel those bites a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the reel. The reel is the Abu Garcia Silver Max 40. It's got 6 ball bearings, and it's a where's the gear ratio? Crap. Oh, there it is, 5.1 gear ratio. It's a really nice reel. I haven't really tried this rod and reel out to its full potential, so really this spring break I'm really going to be testing it out and let you guys know what I think about this. But the line I have running on it is some 10-pound Power Pro, and running for the leader, I don't throw straight braid unless I'm throwing top water, is a fluorocarbon 10-pound Seeger, 10-pound Seeger fluorocarbon line. So I love to use that for my spinning rod. So once again, this is my bass spinning rod. Let's move on to the next one. My next rod is going to be the Berkley Trout Doe Series rod. You have seen this rod before. I've had this rod for quite a while, and you know, the only thing I really use this rod for is power bait fishing for trout, or maybe even put some worms on there for bluegill and stuff. It is a 6'6" ultralight. It's not so much 6'6" anymore, mostly because a propane tank fell on top of it, because I had it laying down in the bed of the truck, and the tip broke off of it. So yeah, I don't really like to use inline spinners and inline spins and little miniature crankbaits on it, mostly because the hook set is trash. But you know, I still am giving it a try, and you know, it's not impossible, but it's hard to, you know, get a good hook set, and it's really flimsy. Let me move off to the side and show you guys. Yeah, it's really flimsy, of course, because it's an ultralight. So moving on to the reel now. This is a Fluger Tryon. Now this is probably one of the best reels you can get for really low cost. Like the cost is $30, I think, at Walmart, and it's a really good reel for that price range. This is a 5 ball bearing system, and I believe the bigger one's a little bit bigger, a little bit more ball bearings. And where's the gear ratio? I think this, oh, there it is. Gear ratio is 5.2 to 1. So once again, this is my trout rod, and I really like this rod. I've had it for quite a while. Same thing with the reel. Then let's move on to the next rod. Alright guys, so my next rod is in the catfish category. This rod is, I can't remember how much it is at Academy, but it's a pretty low price. And to be honest, it's not like the most excellent rod out there, but you know, for me, if I'm doing catfishing and stuff like that, I don't really like to use some high-end rods, because I don't really like to scrape them, and you know, they're going to be on the floor, and they're definitely going to get scraped at some point. So that's why I don't like using high-end rods for catfishing and stuff. But this rod is a really cheap rod, price-wise, but I really think it's a really good rod for catfishing and carp fishing. You can use it for bass too, it works really well. But this is the Classic Edition from Academy. That's what it's called, Classic Edition. You can only get this at Academy. I believe it was 14 bucks, and this is just a really good rod for carp and catfishing. It is a 7-foot medium heavy rod, so that's really good. I love using 7 foots. You know, you can get it out there a little farther and stuff like that. Another thing about that is this this handle right here is a lot longer than, you know, some rods would be, to be honest. This one's just a little bit longer, not a lot, but a little bit longer. What I like about it is I can really fling the bait out there to get it out where the catfish are hanging out deep, and you know, with carp. So let's move on to the reel. The reel that I have on here is, it came from the, I don't really know what it's called, but it's a Shakespeare brand. You don't see me throwing Shakespeare a lot unless it's a ugly stick rod, but I don't like Shakespeare, to be honest. The only thing I like from Shakespeare is an ugly stick. That's really about it. Reels and stuff, I hate them. I just don't like that company. It's really cheap. But I'm honestly amazed by this reel. I feel like this reel is probably the best reel that Shakespeare has ever made, mostly because for 4 ball bearings, and it's the gear ratio is 5.2 to 1. But the thing is, with this, it looks like it's built pretty cheap. But this reel has been through everything. Like, it's been you know, dragged. It's been dropped on accident. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And you know, it's been through a lot, as you can tell. You know, it's got some wear marks right there and scratches and stuff like that. And I've had this reel for about 4 years, I think, and it has not broken. The gears aren't that bad. It does have a little bit of squeaking in the reel when you reel it and stuff, but other than that, it's still going strong. And this is a really good catfish combo. Alright guys, moving on to the bait cast section is this Abu Garcia Black Max. It's the rod. I have the reel over there, but I don't really use this combo, and I'm going to tell you why. I like to use this. This is a 24-ton graphite bait cast rod, and it's a 6'6" medium. So that means you can only throw finesse. And if I was to throw finesse, it would be on a spinning rod, not a bait caster. That's why I have that that Vengeance from Abu Garcia. So, you know, maybe at some point, yeah, I will be using this and giving it a try, and I'll let you guys know what I think about this rod. If not, then it's just gonna be chilling out here, or maybe even selling it. I don't know, but I think I'm gonna hang on to it for a little bit. But yeah, so this rod is a 6'6", and it's really good for you know, finesse type stuff. So like shaky heads, finesse spinnerbaits, stuff like that. Let's move on to them. Alright guys, so this next rod is another catfish rod. It is a bait cast catfish rod. Now, this one I got a long time ago. It came with a push button. I don't use it with a push button, as you can tell. It's not on there. So anything I don't use is put up. So one thing I like about this rod is, you know, it's a really good rod. I've had it for a while, and it is an ugly stick rod. So I have used it quite a few times on a different reel other than a push button. Now I'm going to put some bait casters on, but it's not like the typical bait caster reels used for bass fishing and stuff like that. Some of you may know what I mean, but some of y'all may not. I don't really know what the name is specifically for those reels, but anyways, this is a 7-foot medium heavy. This is a really good rod. To be honest, I feel like you can catch catfish from maybe 20 pounds and under, if not 15 pounds and under. I think this is a good rod. I think the handle is a little bit too long. I don't necessarily like my handles being this long. I like them being a little bit shorter, kind of like I had on my spinning rod. But you know, I still use it. It's still a good rod. and to be honest, it does give you a little bit more extra throwing power, but it kind of feels weird when the reel is farther than usual. It should be lower though, but you know, I still like this rod. So, alright guys, this next rod is my Texas rig baitcaster. This baitcaster has it's 6'6", medium heavy, and it's got a fast taper. It's good for Texas rigs and jigs. I really like to use it mostly for Texas rigs and stuff like that. And you know, I have another rod for rigs and jigs and stuff like that. But this is the Gander Mountain Vortex. I have had it for a long time, as you can tell right there. There's wearing right here on the Vortex part. But you know, this is a really good rod. I've had it for I want to say 3 years, and you know, I've caught a lot of fish on this. You know, it's a really nice rod, and it's sad to see that Gander Mountain has closed down, but I think they're reopening it. It's going to be under a different name. It's like Gander Outdoors or something like that, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have some fishing gear, so when that's up, I might do a little trip over there and, you know, kind of film it too at some point. But yeah, so this is my Texas rig rod. Pretty nice rod. Let's move on to the next one. Alright guys, this next rod is also a Gander Mountain rod. It is called the Gander Mountain Tournament Series, as you can tell there. And you know, this rod, I use it for Texas rigs and jigs. It is a 7-foot medium heavy, and so that's the reason why I like to use jigs with this also, is because it's 7 foot, so you have a little bit longer to get those better hook sets and stuff for, you know, if you're throwing it out deeper than usual and stuff. So I typically like a longer rod for jigs and stuff like that, so that's why I use this. It's a really good rod. One thing that is, you know, kind of a pro and con is it's a two-piece, so you can take it apart if you're traveling. I don't really like two-piece rods, but this one is still an outstanding rod, to be honest. I still love it a lot for Texas rigs and stuff. It has a fast taper, which is good for Texas rigs and jigs. And so let's move on to the reel. So this is the Gander Mountain Vortex reel. I bought it the same day as I got this rod. So one thing I like about this reel is it's got those foam grips. And on my opinion, I really love foam grips. I feel like you can grip them a little bit better on in my opinion, I think you can grab them better. And you know, when I saw this reel, I was like, I'm gonna try it out. But you know, I thought that these were gonna get worn out, and they really haven't gotten worn out. So you know, it's really good material that they put on these foam grips. So I really like that. This reel is a 7.1-to-1 gear ratio. The line I have running on here is 20-pound line. I don't like throwing 20-pound line on like Texas rigs and, like, you know, smaller jigs and stuff like that. Now this is just on temporarily because the line that was on here before, I took it off because it's getting old. Had it on there for a long time, so this is temporary. And once, you know, spring break gets closer, I will be putting 15-pound line on there, which is good for jigs and Texas rigs. So once again, this is my Texas rig rod, really nice rod. Alright guys, so the next rod is going to be my crankbait rod. This is the rod I use for crankbaits such as square bills, you know, DTs, as you can see right there, that's a DT4. And you know, kind of your somewhat, some like medium depth crankbaits and, you know, square bills and rattle traps, if I haven't said that already. So this is my awesome crankbait rod. I haven't really tried this rod out too much. I got this at Academy. It's an Academy brand also. I was like, you know what, I saw this rod and I was like, you know, I'll just go ahead and try it. And I was like, you know, I'll buy it and try it out and see how this rod performs. One thing that I really like about this rod is this reel handle right here. It tapers down. It gets wide, then it gets smaller as it goes. I really like that feature, in my opinion. You know, it's got a nice gray, dark gray color. I don't know what you call it. I think it's I don't know. There's a specific type of gray that's like that. I don't know. Anyways, but it's a gray rod. It's a 7-foot medium heavy rod. Something that I love to use for crankbaits is 7-foot medium heavy with a moderate taper, which means the tip is a lot more flexible than your fast tapers or moderate fast tapers. So it's really good for crankbaits and stuff like that. So one thing, the next thing I'm going to go to is the reel. The reel is an Evan Garcia Black Max. In my opinion, the Black Max is a really good crankbait reel. It's got a low profile, so it fits really good in my hands. I love that when you have that. you know, it fits really nice in your hands and it's comfortable. It's better to be comfortable when you're fishing, so to me, I like low profile reels. Fits better in anyone's hand and stuff like that. So, you know, it's got red accents on the handle and the adjusting knob. The gear ratio is 6.3 to 1, I believe, and it is a 5 ball bearing reel. Now, one thing I don't really like about this is it doesn't have a button to take this side off, but that's okay. I still like it fairly well. It still performs really nice, smooth cast and everything. So the line I have running on here is some Seeger 10-pound fluorocarbon, which is really good for crankbaits. Use that 10-pound fluorocarbon for crankbaits, and that is a good crankbait set up reel right there. Alright guys, last but certainly not least is probably one of my most favorite baitcast rods that I have ever used. This is the Lew's Mach Speed Stick, and this rod I use for spinnerbaits, and it says spinnerbait right there. On all models of this rod, it tells you what type of rod it is and stuff like that. So this rod is a 6'10" medium heavy, moderate fast taper. Now, 6'10" is a pretty good rod. Is a pretty good length size for spinnerbaits. And you know, I particularly use not just spinnerbaits but chatterbaits also on this rod. It works them fairly well. And that moderate fast taper. Sorry, that moderate fast taper really, I love that for spinnerbaits and chatterbaits. Most guys don't really like to use that, but for me personally, it works really great. You know, this is a really good spinnerbait combo, and that's probably why it's one of my most favorite rods I've used. So let's move on to the reel. Now the reel is the Daiwa Laguna. It is not a Lew's, but it's a Daiwa Laguna. This reel is a really good reel. I like it. It casts smooth and everything. So the gear ratio is 7.1 to 1, and I really like that 7.1 to 1 for spinnerbaits. And it has, how many ball bearings does it have? I think it has 6 ball bearings. I didn't remember how much ball bearings it had, but it has 6 ball bearings, and it's a really good reel. So the line I have running on this is some Elite Series Suffix monofilament, 12-pound monofilament. And personally, I would use fluorocarbon better, and I think 12-pound mono or fluoro works really well for spinnerbaits and chatterbaits. Now, this monofilament is Suffix, and I think it's probably one of the best monofilaments I've used. I've only used like 2 brands, this one and Berkeley Trilene, and I didn't like it, so I stuck with Suffix and, you know, went from there. So I've been using it for a while. That is all the rods I have for you guys today. If you want to see me do a specific type of fishing challenge or any kind of stuff, any kind of challenges for fishing, or if you want to see me target a specific type of fish, let me know. Put that down in the comments below, and I will try to do those for you as quick as I can. And you know, I'll be doing a lot of other stuff, putting more content out for this. And honestly, I can't wait for spring break, and I'm definitely be putting some content and tips and stuff like that for the spring break. I feel like I've talked too much. This video is already long enough for you guys. I'm sorry for that. Once again, this is 806 Anglers Tight Lines. If you're new, subscribe to this channel, leave a like on this comment, share it with your friends. And once again, this is 806 Anglers Tight Lines, guys, and we'll see you on the next video.
With